Welcome to Up Your Stack podcast. I'm your host, Noah Berk. Every week, we feature some of our favorite app developers who've either built their applications on HubSpot or integrated with HubSpot to help you get the most out of your HubSpot tech stack. And today, I have a really exciting company who's going to talk more about his application, Outfunnel, and we're joined by Andrus. Andrus, welcome to the show.
Hey, hi Noah. Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And honestly, you guys fill such a critical place in the HubSpot ecosystem. We'll call it connecting data. But rather than me giving away all the spoilers about what you guys do and how you do it, maybe we start off with you giving the opportunity to share more information about yourself, your role, and what does Outfunnel do for clients?
I'm Andrus. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Outfunnel and connect data between sales and marketing apps like HubSpot and a myriad of others. We've been doing that since 2018. We have about 1,000 paying customers. HubSpot is a strong number two in our collection of CRMs we integrate with.
And obviously, this is a big problem people are trying to solve. But, there's a lot of companies out there who will integrate applications like HubSpot to X. So, why you guys? Like, why start this company in the first place to solve this particular problem organizations have?
So maybe I go back to when the company started. I think that should give an answer. I was actually working at Pipedrive, another CRM, the revenue app, before starting Outfunnel. I was doing marketing there. One of the things I was in charge of was customer research and also integrations, marketing side of integrations. I realized talking to customers that people loved the sales software. They were finding it hard to connect marketing tools and workflows. So that gave me an idea. That sounds like a problem to be solved. Then quit Pipedrive and started looking for my next thing to do, and then talked to more than 100 companies around the world in different verticals, doing different things, using different CRMs, and asked what the problems were. And I learned that not only in the Pipedrive ecosystem, but also with some HubSpot customers, it was hard to connect sales and marketing tools together to really do it deeply and easily. So what we do is we help for the kinds of companies that want to use different sales and marketing tools. If you're somebody who uses HubSpot's Sales Hub and Marketing Hub, probably have nothing to offer you. But if you're using the HubSpot as a CRM and let's say MailChimp or FTCampaign as a marketing tool, you'll find it that even with your operations hub, it's hard to get these two tools or three tools really tightly joined at the hip. So that's what we do. We help to mix your favorite tools without having to worry about whether the data is connected or not. So we'll do that for you.
Well, Andrews, you said something really impactful right there. Before starting this, you talked to all of these customers. And it sounds like you've talked to plenty, hundreds perhaps. How did you start this conversation with them? Like, did you just pick up the phone and say, hey, listen, I see you have X software and Y software. What are your problems? Did you have a list of questions you were asking them?
Yeah, I mean, in the very early phases of doing this customer research or customer development, you tend to ask very open-ended questions just to understand the problems. But the more you do these early interviews, the more answers start to repeat. And then you want to be mindful of your own time and the time of the people you speak to. And then maybe you skip some of the very early, very open-ended questions and just ask, what are the tools you use? What are the issues you have in aligning sales and marketing? What are the issues relating to connecting data in particular? And then you don't have to ask too many questions to see that these problems are solvable.
Yeah. And a lot of people may refer to this as like voice of the customer analysis, which you essentially did up front. Would you say that was one of the reasons you got traction? Did a lot of these conversations turn into your early customers? How did that work?
Yeah, I mean, it turned to a few of the customers for sure, but really, our story wasn't that, hey, we spoke to, I think literally we spoke to 10 customers who had a very specific need close to what we then launched, but only one of them started the paid subscription. So the remaining 10 first customers we had to then hustle for and just do marketing, be present at marketplaces like HubSpot Apps Marketplace and just hustle basically.
And where do your customers come from? Like, how are you gaining traction in the marketplace now?
Our favorite channel, the channel we love, is marketplaces. So App Marketplace as well as Pipedrive Marketplace. These are, and then the marketing tools we integrate with, they maybe don't have marketplaces which are that advanced, but all SaaS tools have their integrations kind of pages or hubs or directories. So it really pays to be present there. And if there are reviews there, then make sure that you have good reviews. Make sure that you're really putting your best foot forward, both in terms of your descriptions, your imagery, and user testimonials there.
Yeah,
So
so
that's
it's
that's
really
the first.
leveraging the marketplace and
Yeah,
really taking advantage of that area and making sure you're continually building out that profile, making it good, giving the images, providing the material and the content so people don't have to search for it. Who would you suppose is your customer? Is this a marketing person? Is this an ops person? Is this a developer? Who are you marketing to generally?
excellent question. I have thought about that question a lot and done a lot of research and speaking to customers. So we don't have one specific persona that buys us, but it's usually either the marketing lead or the sales lead who then initiates
Mm,
buying something like Outfunnel. Usually, businesses have different reasons for wanting to use different sales and marketing tools. Some do it because of cost reasons, because HubSpot is a great tool, but it can get pricey at some point if you're going to cross certain thresholds. In some businesses, money is not an issue, but just hey, marketing lead really likes Klaviyo as the marketing tool, and the sales lead really likes HubSpot or Salesforce for that matter. In a very democratic organization, you don't say that who has the right answer, but you try to then combine these two tools, and this is where tools like Outfunnel come in. Not only us, I mean, there's many ways to connect the tools, but what makes us different is that that's the only thing we do. Other app connectors like Zapier they connect lots of different data between lots of different kinds of tools, but we are just custom designed for uniting your sales data and marketing data and making it useful in both tools.
Well, let's expand upon this concept because one of the areas you differentiate is because you really focus a niche on just a particular few set of tools. Why
Mhm.
is that an advantage for a client versus something like a Zapier?
So I love Zapier. We use Zapier for lots of different things, and it's really good for, like, let's say you want to get a lead from your lead form into your CRM. Perfect, does it perfectly. Or if you need your CRM to connect to ChatGPT, take something from there and put it back to the CRM. Love it. Very easy to make it happen. But if you want to connect your whole sales database with your whole marketing database, or maybe a specific segment to a specific area in the marketing tool, and then sync some data back, then this becomes really hard to set up with something like Zapier. And then we just make it easy. That's the only thing we do. And we try to make it as easy and as powerful as humanly possible.
So basically, by focus, it's like your entire team is simply thinking, how do we make this particular use case as easy as possible? And essentially, your differentiation in the marketplace is it's easier.
Yeah, it's
To the
easier, and I think
competition.
it solves the problem more holistically. We also have a connection where we, let's say, sync WordPress forms into your CRM, and
Mhm.
there we're just as good as the native connectors or Zapier. We don't have any value. It was like hard for us to make these integrations happen, but it turned out that there's no willingness to pay there, and also our solution is just as good as Zapier or some of the native integrations. But where we really are different, better even, I should say, is connecting your CRM to your marketing database and then letting people pick and mix the revenue stack.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a CRM that's separate from your marketing. You got to be able to have the two integrated well enough so both can do their jobs effectively. If someone says, like, how do you feel, what gap do you feel in the HubSpot ecosystem? How would you go ahead and answer that question?
There's many ways to get the tools connected lightly. So let's say for using HubSpot as your CRM and Mailchimp as your marketing tool. HubSpot itself has two different offerings for connecting these two tools. You have the native sync, which connects contacts as a one-off and then starts syncing email engagement back. But it's very hard to control what data exactly is synced back and how. Usually, new people added to either of these two tools don't get synced. So if it solves some use cases, but not all use cases well. The revenue ops tool is again, it's a great two-way syncing tool, but if you need to sync engagements, not contacts, then it doesn't offer that capability yet. So where we step in is we've talked to enough people who want to connect different tools, and then we know what kind of data they want and how they want it connected and what they want customized. So it's really the not just edge cases, but the advanced cases and some of the edge cases, which we just
Sure.
make it easy to happen. We make it easy to make even quite exotic sales and marketing workflows and use cases true.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
and also I'd say there's probably a big price differentiation between like HubSpot Ops Hub versus what you charge for your capabilities and tools. So it seems like there's probably some cost savings in addition to ease of use.
Yeah, in most cases, yeah, that's true.
And what's the future of Outfunnel? Like, what are you working on next? And like, how does AI play a part in all this?
So one thing we want to do for sure is add integrations. So we currently work across 4 CRMs and maybe 6 marketing automation tools. We have more integrations, but these 10 tools are our bread and butter. We know that we need to add 3, 4 integrations on the CRM side and 5 to 10 integration on the marketing side as quickly as we can. And then AI can come in at least 3 ways. We're already using different AI related tools to help us engineer faster and more efficiently. So things like copilots and using ChatGPT to help solve specific flows. These are no brainers. We're also looking to add AI into the tool. So doing things like things that the ops people love, field mappings, right? If you have lots of fields and then on the both sides something says company name, you'd really want it to be automatic. It doesn't need like
Sure.
a 3-year-old, my 5-year-old daughter can do that. Uh, and then ops will still have to do it manually. There's probably the language model that could do that. Thirdly, we're now also looking at putting some AI features or really exploring how to make sure that the data you have here, the data you want to put in this other place, maybe we can enrich it or make it more useful for
Sure.
your outreach efforts or personalizing campaigns. This is something which is more innovative and harder to do, but yeah, I think this is something we're looking at as
Sounds like a
possible next
fun
step.
Sounds like a fun challenge to solve for. Now, how are you picking what additional technologies to integrate with? Are you going back to your initial playbook of talking to as many customers as possible, or are you using some other metrics to say we should have integrations to X?
Yeah, talking to customers for sure. So we have enough existing customers that we get the steady stream of requests from them. We also use kind of keyword research tools, SEO tools that give us search volumes of specific integration corridors. And we have hundreds and hundreds of landing pages for
Yeah,
integrations which are coming soon. So that if people want an integration, they probably find us, and then we know how many
interesting.
people land there and then how many people submit early beta request.
That is an excellent strategy. Creating landing pages for future
Don't tell others.
offerings. I will not tell anyone. And perhaps you were not meaning to share that. And everyone who's listening, just ignore what we just talked about now. I may take that idea and we're a professional services company and just start adding that to ourselves. But no, that's really fascinating. I guess that kind of leads me into my next question is what advice for entrepreneurs in general or leaders of businesses in general that you've learned over these years of running Outfunnel?
So I'm going to give you a round, take a detour and get to an answer. So I mentioned
Perfect.
earlier that for us, really important channel is marketplaces. And I think we have a bit of a
Mhm.
playbook there now where we have an edge, how we can bring in a steady stream of customers cost efficiently and even scale it as much as we can. That said, we also have found some success with content, some success with paid ads, some success with just normal affiliate deals. And we could also do things like personal outreach more or display ads more. But for the kind of company that we are right now, marketplaces works the best. But we could also be a content driven company. We could also be a paid driven company. So the advice I would give is to experiment enough to know what works, to need not what works overall, and then what works for you and what you like to do, and then just do you. There's no one thing which every entrepreneur should do or every app maker should do. There's plenty of channels that can work. Just should find the best channel which works for you and which you like to own and manage, and then double down on that. So you do
Yeah,
you
that is
is my answer.
and that's fantastic advice. When I think a lot of organizations out there, they either try and copycat what other organizations do, and you can't spread yourself that thin across all the different marketing channels. And you really got to say, what's that channel? Is it the partner channel? Is it the marketplace channel? Is it the organic search channel? There's only so many places you can say, I'm going to win that particular channel and focus on it. And in your particular case, it sounds like you identified marketplace as a great way of doing it. Doesn't mean to ignore all the other potential marketing channels. But if you're going to be putting most of your efforts, most of your people, most of your thought into it, marketplace is a place that you're going to do better than anyone else. And to your point, do what you think is best. I think that's excellent advice, Andrews, that you just shared, because I think too often people are trying to simply copy what the leader's doing. And perhaps that's not the best strategy because they may have a lot more money than you to do what they're doing versus what you think is best for your own business.
Exactly.
Andrews, this was fantastic. If people are interested to learn more about Outfunnel and more about yourself, how do they find out more information about you? Do they connect with you? And then how do they find out more information about Outfunnel as well?
Excellent. So yeah, everybody who wants to take a peek of what we do, go to HubSpot Apps Marketplace and look for Outfunnel or look for Mailchimp or look for Klaviyo, and then you'll probably see our listing come up there. And I personally am quite active on LinkedIn. So if you type in the exotic word of Andrus Purde, ANDRUSPURDE, then I'd love to connect with you there.
It's a name that should come up probably first, I imagine, when you go ahead and look for that on LinkedIn. Well, Andrews, thank you so much for joining today on the podcast. It's been a pleasure having you, sharing more information about the company. And listeners, thank you for joining us as well. And that really wraps it up today. Again, Up Your Stack is a weekly podcast that features app partners who've either built their apps on HubSpot or integrated with HubSpot. You can find me on LinkedIn, just like Andrews. Type in Noah Berk. I think I'll probably come up near the top, and it's Berk. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you took something fun away.